Men forget the days of the destroyer. Only the wise know where it went, and that it will return, in its appointed hour. It raged across the heavens in the days of wrath. It was as a billowing cloud of smoke, enwrapped in a ruddy glow, not distinguishable in joint or limb. Its mouth was an abyss, from which came flame, smoke, and hot cinders. When ages pass, certain laws operate upon the stars, and in the heavens. Their ways change. There is movement and restlessness upon the earth, and the people are no longer content. A great light reappears, redly in the skies. The destroyer has returned. When blood drops upon the earth, the destroyer will appear. The mountains will open up, and belch forth fire and ash. Trees will be destroyed, and all living things engulfed. The waters will be swallowed up by the land, and the seas will boil. The heavens will burn brightly, and redly. There will be a copper hue over the face of the land, followed by days of darkness. A new moon will appear, and break up, and fall. Millennia ago, Egyptian and Celtic authors recorded prophetic warnings for the future. These predictions are found in the Colbrin Bible, a secular wisdom text, studied in the days of Jesus, and lovingly preserved by generations of Celtic mystics, in Great Britain. The first 6 books are called the Egyptian texts, and were penned by Egyptian academicians, following the Hebrew Exodus. The last 5 books are called the Celtic texts, and were penned by Celtic priests, following the death of Jesus. The Colbrin Bible predicts an end to life as we know it, by a celestial event. The return of a massive object from space, on a long elliptical orbit around our Sun, known to the Egyptians and Hebrews as the Destroyer. The Celtics later called it the Frightener. The Destroyer, as the ancient Egyptians and Hebrews called it, is known by other names, such as Wormwood, Nibiru, Planet X, and Nemesis. There are also troubling prophetic correlations to the future predictions of Mother Shipton's fiery dragon, and the red comet warning of astronomer Carlos Farada. Farada explains that this great star approaching, loaded with cosmic energy, does not respect the established laws of celestial mechanics. It has an elliptical orbit, and travels between our Sun and the black sun that is 32 billion kilometers away.
Y en este gráfico usted nos muestra, en el gráfico, ¿verdad?
Here in
De
this
que
chart,
en este lado
was that on this side
está
is the Earth.
la Tierra, la órbita de nuestra Tierra alrededor del Sol.
Our Earth
Y
is
que él
orbiting around
penetra
the sun.
en la órbita terrestre,
The man replies, yes,
aquí,
sir.
pasando muy cerca
And he
de
enters the orbit here, passing very
nuestra
close to
Tierra.
our Earth.
Entonces tarda
A
este
14 millones de kilómetros.
14 millones de
Scientist
kilómetros.
says 14 million
Entonces acá
kilometers away.
usted en su gráfico
So here
nos
in your chart,
presenta
they show
lo
us
que es la
the
estrella
star,
muerta
that sun.
o el
This one,
sol muerto.
Contigo a 92 kilómetros por segundo.
you're at 92 kilometers per
La
second.
destrucción viene.
Destruction comes.
The Destroyer, from the Great Scroll, preserved in the Book of Manuscripts. The people will scatter in madness. They will hear the trumpets and battle cries of the Destroyer, and will seek refuge in the dens of the earth. Terror will eat away at their hearts, and their courage will flow from them, like water from a broken pitcher. They will be eaten up in the flames of wrath, and consumed by the breath of the destroyer. As was in the days of heavenly wrath, it will be again in the days of doom, when it comes again. The times of its coming and going are known unto only the wise. These are the signs and times which shall precede the destroyer's return. 110 generations shall pass into the west, and nations will rise and fall. Men will fly in the air as birds, and swim in the seas as fishes. Men will talk peace with one another, but hypocrisy and deceit shall have their day. Women will be as men, and men as women. Passion will be a plaything of man. A nation of soothsayers shall rise and fall, and their tongue shall be the speech learned. A nation of lawgivers shall rule the earth, until they too pass away into nothingness. One worship will pass into the four quarters of the earth, talking peace, but bringing conflict and deception. A nation of the seas will be greater than any other, but will be as an apple, rotten at the core, and will not endure.
And that's
A
Christianity.
nation of traders will destroy men with wonders, and it shall have its day. Then shall the high strive with the low, the north with the south, the east with the west, and the light with the darkness. Men shall be divided by their races, and the children will be born as strangers among them. Then men will be ill at ease in their hearts. They will seek they know not what, and uncertainty and doubt will trouble them. They will possess great riches, but be poor in spirit. Then will the heavens tremble, and the earth shall move. Men will quake in fear, and while terror walks with them, the heralds of doom will appear. In Egypt, the destroyer was seen throughout all the lands. In color, it was bright and fiery in appearance, changing and unstable. It twisted about itself like a coil, like water bubbling into a pool from an underground supply. And all men agree, it was a most fearsome sight. It was not a great comet, or a loosened star. It was seen to be like a fiery body of dust and flame. As the great salt waters rise up in its train, and roaring torrents pour towards the land, even the heroes among mortal men will be overcome with madness. As moths fly swiftly to their doom, in the burning flame, so will these men rush to their own destruction. Terrible teeth will be seen in formless mouths, and a fearful dark belly will glow redly from fires inside. Even the most stout-hearted man will tremble, and his bowels be loosened, for this is not a thing understandable to men. It will be a vast sky-spanning form, enwrapping earth, burning with many hues within wide open mouths. These will descend to sweep across the face of the land, engulfing all in the yawning jaws. The greatest warriors will charge against it in vain. The fangs will fall out, and lo, they are terror-inspiring things of cold-hardened water. Great boulders will be hurled down upon men, crushing them into red powder. The flames going before will devour all the works of men. The waters following will sweep away whatever remains. The dew of death will fall softly, as grey carpet over the cleared land. Men will cry out in their madness. Oh, whatever being there is, save us from this tall form of terror, save us from the grey dew of death. This is the description of the doomshape, called the Destroyer, as described in the great scrolls of old, few of which still remain. It is said that when it appears in the heavens above, earth splits open from the heat, like a nut roasted before the fire. Then flames shoot up through the surface, and leap about like fiery fiends, upon black blood. The moisture inside the land will all dry up, the pastures and cultivated places consumed in flames, and all trees become white ash. Much of the ancient writing describes the doom shape to be like a circling ball of flame, which scatters small fiery offspring in its train. It covers about a fifth part of the sky, and sends writhing snake-like fingers down to earth. Before it, the sky appears frightened, and it breaks up and scatters away. Day is no brighter than night. It spawns a host of terrible things. These are things said of the destroyer in the old records. Read them with a solemn heart, knowing that the doom shape has its appointed time, and will indeed return. It would be foolish to let them go unheeded. Now men say, such things are not destined for our days. May the great God above grant that this be so. But come, the day surely will, and in accordance with his nature, man will be unprepared.
And in accordance with his nature, man will be ill prepared. What would it mean to be prepared? That's what I'm here to teach you. This does not have to be a doom and gloom scenario. Yes, we're in a binary system. More than that, really, but the other two don't matter right now and won't in our lifetime. But this one matters. And this one really is a make it or break it for the majority of us kind of a thing. You heard the man say, the narrator, and I will reiterate, that the world as we know it will change. I was told this key phrase to remember for this time when I was a small child. I was told many key phrases that this is something that would become to be known as the Great Awakening. That we are who we've been waiting for. Key phrases. We can do this. No, we can't stop the binary star from coming past our planet. We can't disintegrate it or destroy it, because that would upset a balance, a cyclical balance. But what we can do, because we are connected to our planet magnetically, we can help keep our core stable and our planet stable and our planet's shields stable. We can do that. People like me do that all the time. It's what being a true light worker is really about. And you can be a light worker too. And you don't have to leave the comfort of your home. You don't have to face ridicule from family or friends. All you have to do is be open-minded enough to believe that you truly are that powerful. I'm showing you the rest. It's all about thought. Thought matters. If you focus your thought energy on stabilized shields around our planet, if you focus your thought on the core being stable, which by the way is not what everyone thinks it is, and there's actually a second part to it in the center that scientists will catch up with very soon. If you focus your thought on the earth not having to go through extremes and cataclysms, then it will be. There are only so many that are like me that know how to do this. And we need your help. All of mankind needs your help. The planet itself needs our help. This is why we are who we've been waiting for. Jesus said, you can go and do the same great works as he, and more. This was prophesied for us, for this time. Many of the people from the 70s, 80s, maybe even very early 90s generations, a lot of you are actually volunteers that wanted to be here for this event. It's why you were always a rebel, an outcast, didn't fit in, the black sheep of the family. Because you're different on purpose. Even the cool kids and the bullies. They were different. And now they're even more different. And they're changing. And they're waking up. And they're seeing through new eyes. And they're healing. So that they can be stronger. And in this time that we find ourselves in, volunteer or not, we need to be strong. We need to put on our armor of God. And I don't speak from a religious perspective. I speak from a spiritual perspective, which to me is much more inclusive and fulfilling than any religion I've ever studied. It's what a true connection and a true relationship to God is all about. Jesus and many others like him were really great masters. And their words got twisted, their message misconstrued, and lost in various ways of defining what it means instead of looking at the literal words in the Bible. And there are many places in the Bible that speak of all of these interesting things that we find ourselves in. So it is a very important historical record. Though there are many books that were left out and many parts of the stories left out as well. But for those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and those who seek the truth, find it. All right, so we're going to get into the rest of our current affairs. I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far, and just stick with me because our current affairs are crazy. Like, for real. You're not going to believe it. Welcome, whether you're across the nation or around the world. This is Beacon News with Earthsong, shining the light on all the darkness and guiding you safely to the truths, empowering you to take back your power and be the beacon so you can shine your light, because we are who we've been waiting for. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in and share my screen with you, and we're going to go over all of the current affairs of the day, or well, the past few days, really. All right, so let's just start with the meteor showers, right? Because we've got a lot of meteors. Well, we've got 7 more expected to come in, and we'll just scroll through this so that you can see there's 5 more asteroid approaches. And then this is for the 18th to the 24th. We'll see what it says for meteors. We're not going to read all this. Let me skim through it and find. Okay. Estimated total hourly rates for evening observers for this week will be near 3 as seen from mid-northern latitudes, 45 degrees north, and 4 as seen from tropical southern locations of 25 degrees south. For morning observers, the estimated total hourly rates should be near 9 as seen from mid-northern latitudes, 45 degrees north, and 16 as seen from the tropical southern locations of 25 degrees south. The actual rates seen will also depend on factors such as personal light, motion perception, local weather conditions, alertness, and experience in watching meteor activity. Okay, so we're going to pay attention to that because there have been a boatload of meteors. Let me just open this up and we'll go through the list. If it loads it, here it comes. Okay, so where's our other meteors? Okay, here's the asteroid, twice the size of a Super Bowl trophy, impacted France. This was on the 13th. And created quite the splash in the media. No pun intended. It was only discovered 7 hours before impact. Now, I want to ask you, how does that happen? You know, how do they not see asteroids and meteors coming in if we have the technology? Oh, not that. You know, to be watching for these. Like, if everybody's watching, then how come we're not seeing it until 7 hours before? I'll tell you why. It's because it's coming with that other system. I think I'm froze. All right, come on. Give it to me. Let's close that and see if that helps anything. And I will share all of these links with you. Okay. Anybody hear about the Black Hawk down? That's some craziness. This is NBC News reporting it. So we'll just take a peek here for a minute because you're going to see it like spiraling down. Look, watch it right there. See it spinning as it comes down. Now, they're not saying why it happened, and they're not, um, no one got hurt except for the occupants of the helicopter. Unfortunate for them, but thankfully for everyone else, because you can clearly see this is in like a suburban area. Okay. So there was an airplane that went down. Where is the airplane? Here it is. This is the airplane. I know this is CNN, but it is legit. My screen is still frozen where you can't see me. It's like the worst way to have froze me too. Look how nice I look. All right, anyway. So they're going to investigate this 777's scary plunge toward the ocean. Okay. This took off in Hawaii. And shortly after takeoff, they came within, this says 800 feet, but they reported on the news that it was 775 feet, but I won't dicker over 25 feet. It's still scary as hell, right? But they came as close as 800 feet to the sea level before they could regain control of the plane and lift it back up. Now, if you'll notice, this happened in December, and they're just now telling anybody about it because it's only happening to some airplanes, not all of them. And I'll tell you why. And they're not saying it's mechanical, and they're not saying it was the fault of the pilots either. They literally lost control of the airplane, and it's because they were over top of the planet in an area where the magnetics have went down considerably low. They're very negative in their magnetic energy, their magnetic power at this time. That's why the helicopter went down. This is going to continue to happen as our pole changes if we don't do something about it. Okay, so what else do I have here I want to show you? Okay, so of course everybody is familiar with the senator warning people to lock their doors after he heard what was said in the classified hearing about the UFOs that were shot down, right? Which is just preposterous because what good is it going to do anybody to lock their damn doors? I mean, if it's aliens, they can get in your house with your door locked. You know, that's just stupid. So, oh, look, there I'm back. Okay, I want to go. Let me look here. Why is all that there? That's not even the video that goes with that. That's weird. That's interesting. Okay, and I don't know why that picture is there with this, but we're going to look at this. Everyone's familiar with the quake in Turkey by now. So we're going to look at the cracks that are being shown through satellite observation, surface cracks from the earthquake. You can see them all through there. That's just a demonstration. 16 feet fissures in some places, which is 5 meters. It says that the long fissure stretches 190 miles northeast from the northeastern tip of the Mediterranean Sea. The shorter 80-mile long crack opened by the second quake, somewhat milder tremor, runs from west to east, partially in parallel with a section of this first fissure. That's not good news, guys. That is not good news for them at all. Our plates are literally breaking apart because of this binary star that's coming nearer to us, and its magnetic field is fighting with our sun's magnetic field, which in turn creates our magnetic field to be weakened by the sun and more influenced by the binary star because it's closer to us than our sun is. Let's see, what else is there? New Zealand was hit by an earthquake, and then a horrific storm followed, and they ended up with lots of flooding, which, by the way, Turkey did too. And they're not really talking about that on the news, but Turkey ended up flooded. Okay, so weird weather nobody was expecting. Let's just go on to that from here. Where's it at? Okay, well, that just looks dumb, so we're not even going to keep it. I don't know why it's in my bookmark. Something fishy is going on here. Okay, so anyway, we'll skip that one and we'll go on to the reported quake or seismic activity of the past week. Okay, so this was the 15th. That was a small one. Weak shaking. Weak shaking, weak shaking, weak shaking. Okay. What else do we have here? Well, that was wild looking. Did you see all that? That was crazy. Volcanic activity around the world. Okay, and this is for today and yesterday. Explosive activity continues. I don't even know how to say that. Suwanasi Yima, Indonesia, Mexico, Guatemala, Ecuador, Peru, Italy, Fuego volcano, Tokyo. Okay, so lots of volcanic activity going on. There's also been lots of earthquake activity until today, and we're going to get to that too. The Hawaiian volcano is also erupting. Um, is that Krakatoa? What is that? It's not Krakatoa. What is it called? I think Krakatoa is also erupting though. I don't know why that keeps freezing and turning me into a cartoon. That's the stupidest thing. Kilauea is the one in Hawaii that's erupting. And Malau. That says advisory and watch. Does that mean that they stopped erupting? Oh, okay. They're on very high alert to erupt again. I got you. Okay. What else we got? Okay. Scientists think they may be able to find the missing planet nine. This I found kind of interesting too, because they know they can't see it with its own light, right? Planet nine, the hypothetical ninth planet, which is actually its own solar system, may be orbiting our past out past Neptune, in or just past the Kuiper Belt. A new preprint suggests it's possible that, if it exists, Planet 9 may have collected some moons. So while the dark planet gives off no signal, see, they know it's a dark planet, right? They know it doesn't have its own light, exterior light, and it's not reflecting light the way that the other planets do. They know it's a dark dwarf star. They're admitting that. You have to be able to pay attention to all of the wording. So while the dark planet gives off no signals we can detect, observing the heat from those moons may be a way to finally spot Planet 9, which they did with the IRIS telescope in 1983. They've known of its existence for a very long time. Look at my whole thing just shimmering over there like I'm freaking out and having a seizure or something. That's crazy. I don't know why it's messing up. So bizarre. Really not flattering ways to freeze me either. All right. What else we got so I can get to my point here with all the rest? There's a Cyclone Gabriel that wiped out quite a bit of stuff in, I think that was New Zealand. The poor people in New Zealand have really been having a hard time. We've got like a whole bunch of train derailments going on, and that's actually very pertinent to understand, okay? In New Canaan, wasn't that other place called Palestine, Ohio? That's interesting. Anyway, the train derailments are important to take notice of because when we have tectonic plate shifts, earthquakes, the plates moving kind of stuff, it moves the earth, right? So when it moves the earth, it moves the track. And if it moves the track the slightest bit on one side or the other, and it ain't even anymore, it's not, lined up right, then the train derails. Now, there's actually been several train derailments that they're not telling you about. They're not talking about any of them except for the two that had the spills on them, which were horrible, absolutely horrible. But there is an increase in train derailments. And now look, it says, it's therefore logical that an increase in train derailments would accompany any increase in seismic activity. Train tracks need to be straight, and even the slightest shift to the side of a section of the track would cause the train to derail. The area most affected by train derailments is the stretch zone. The stretch zone quakes are silent, and people are generally unaware of anything even happening, although signs such as booms and trumpet sounds can occur. You see? And that mystery hum, the mystery hum is the magma moving beneath the crust. When people are hearing that hum sound, that's what that is. And there's actually facts on that's actually moving currently. Let me just find that little folder real quick, and I'll show you. They're called hotspots. I think it's in this one. So we have all these magnetic anomalies that are going on. The West African magnetic anomaly now is so big that it's actually splitting into two. It's splitting in half, like the magnetic anomaly is dividing into two different sections. Yeah, see, and it's the biggest one that's weakening Earth's magnetic field, and it's splitting in half, okay? And that's important because splitting it in half means it's lessening its power. Where is the one on the hot springs? Do, 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 do. Okay, maybe it's not in this one. Let me just go back here. Oh, it might be in. I might have put it in fault lines. So okay, real quick, we'll just take a look at where the magnetic anomalies are for North America, just so you can understand a little better. And I guess since I'm frozen like a cartoon, I'll just move this over anyway. Well, I'm back now, but it's going to freeze me like a cartoon again. Okay. So where is the graph? Let me see if I can find the graph real quick. The map ledger thingy. Where is it? I know it says somewhere. Oh, here we go. Okay, so anything that is yellow, orange, red, or purples is the strong magnetic areas, okay? Like positively strong. And then anything from the greens through the blues is going to be your negative magnetic anomalies, okay? So everywhere that you see some blue, if I can get this bigger. There we go. Everywhere that you see um, the green, what was it? The green and the blue. Yeah, the greens or the blues are negative magnetic anomalies, okay? Which would be where you're going to have more UFO activity, more paranormal activity, um, more chances of airplanes falling out of the sky kind of activity, because the magnetics are negative in that area, right? There could also be um, portals in those areas that you wouldn't know how to get back from, too. So you got to be careful. And look, these areas here, just a plethora of the whole event there. And all through here, see, you can see why places like Skinwalker Ranch and the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone are significant places, you know. And all through all these green areas, ironically, are where the hot springs are that I want to find and show you. Let me see if I put it in fault lines. Hot spots. There it is. Well, and those also show it. But I think this one's the better one. Okay, so the New Madrid fault line is particularly interesting to pay attention to. Because it's overdue for going off. And even FEMA agrees, and the Navy, that this is going to create great geological change to the areas through the New Madrid fault line. And certainly the pole shift being caused from a dwarf star system would be a great catalyst for kicking all this off. So now if you'll notice the rectangular boxes of orange that are through here, this is what they're calling the hot spots. And this is where the hot springs are actually, the magma, excuse me, that makes the springs hot is actually on the move, and it's traveling from west to east in this direction, you see, all the way up through here. So because this is crossing the New Madrid fault line, and this is crossing the Madrid fault line over here, this is of particular great interest, because what that would do is, let's say this is weakening, okay? This is weakening everything through here by being on the move. And then you have the New Madrid wake up and start a quake. And this is weakening that area, that zone. Well, what's happening in this area then is that it's going to break somewhere on this plate boundary. It's going to crack and fracture and break. And the same for over here. It would create breaks in the area, okay? So this is why they're paying attention to this. And I'm telling you, everybody knows. Everybody that's anybody knows about this. It's not a secret. They're fully aware of it, and they're paying attention to all of it, and they're putting it all together as one big puzzle. They're just not cluing other people in on that. So this is a map that is not completely accurate, but it's pretty good. Because actually through Illinois and Indiana, right in this area, there are also hot springs. Indiana has West Baden and French Lick hot springs. And then I believe there's one like right over in here in Illinois. And then I don't know why they're not showing them on this map, because you saw them on the other map where we were looking at the thing going across here. So not, well, it's Wikipedia. That explains it, right? I just looked to see whose website we were on. That makes sense. Okay, and what else? Okay, I'm going to share these links for these videos also, because this is very important stuff. And of course, everybody surely knows by now that a piece of the sun, a chunk of the sun broke off and created a polar vortex up there, which could have only been caused from something being out there magnetically warring with it. All right, let me go back to current affairs, because there was more to cover here before I get to my good news that's at the end of this. Okay, so this is glacier news. So the surprising formations they're finding underneath of the ice shelf is actually where it's thawing from the underneath out instead of from the top down like they originally thought. They're actually realizing that it is thawing out beneath the ice first, which means that the ocean is actually what's heating up, which is another thing that I've been watching is the ocean temperatures, because that matters a great deal as well for our coming pole shift. Now, the scientist that I follow that is always reporting the movement of our magnetic north. I showed you last week. I don't even know why those are in here. And why does it have a cancer video attached to all of it? That is so bizarre. Okay. Anyway, I don't even know why some of them are in here. And I don't know what happened to the video I was actually working for. Oh my goodness, something is going on. That's very strange. I am very meticulous at keeping my things in order in here and not putting dumb shit in with my research. So that is very interesting. Let me see if that scientist's newest information that just came out, technically on the 17th of February. Oh my goodness. And my internet is terribly slow too for some reason. All right. Well, anyway, the point here is this is not even going to work. All right. I'm going to move this over. Okay. So I'm froze like a cartoon, but hopefully you're still hearing me and everything. The point here is that the scientist that I track, who tracks the magnetic north movement, last week he reported, after I had been working for a week on stabilizing the core and pulling magnetic north back to buy us some time, because it's not that a magnetic pole shift is that dangerous to us, but at the particular time of the passing of this other planetary system is what would create the extra, it's like the linchpin basically of, the perfect storm, if you will. So if we can hold that back long enough for this to get out of our area, then we can prevent the worldwide cataclysms, and deal with, magnetic north moving, because it's done that tons of times in history, and it doesn't always wipe out civilization. That only occurs when you have this binary system passing through at the same time. So if we can keep the core stable and magnetic north pushed back, keep it from flipping, we could keep the earth stable enough to get through this. And last week I showed you that the scientist's work shows that magnetic north was pushed back toward the west. Well, today's update, even though I can't find it, but I will, today's update, actually, he reported that it's still remaining in the exact same position that it was in last week when it was pushed back toward the west. So it's standing still in that position. It's not moving either way. Okay, which is a good thing. That's a very good thing. Now, also, I wish I wasn't froze up. Also, so yesterday we were expected to be having more earthquakes and a whole rash of tornadoes across the United States for today, for February, well, technically February 17th. And I just want to show you on the USGS here, all of the earthquakes for today are very low, 4.9 or less worldwide. You can see all of that there. Very low. Yes, there is shaking, but it's not a tremendous amount, and it's not over 4.5 or 4.9 magnitudes are the greatest. And there's a reason that I'm pointing this out to you. because you see already the evidence of things calming down, um, just since all of that stuff that happened last week. Okay. And my point to this is that last night when I was watching all of the things that I watch, and I go to the weather and I do the earthquakes and I do the volcanoes and I do all of it, right? And so when I got to the earthquakes and it was like, these are the um, predicted things that'll happen, so to speak, for the next day or two, and it's looking like it's going to get hairy and blah, blah, blah. I just saw in my mind, I just visualized seeing the energy that creates the earthquake dispersing in all different directions down all of the various fault line areas, right? To spread it out to where it wasn't one big oomph in one direction, but that big oomph being shared with all these other directions lessens it greatly, right? It lessens its strength, its intensity, to where it's just little small shakes. And so that's what I saw in my mind's eye was happening with every one of these points across the globe, was just dispersing it and scattering it to reduce its power, to reduce its friction. And then when I got to the weather, and it showed this entire rash of tornado outbreaks and bad activity that was due to happen uh, throughout the night and then throughout the entire day of February 17th. I just, like, for me personally here at home, I do the old fashioned Native American part the storm thing. And when we first started doing it, we would literally take a kitchen knife out to the yard and drop to our knees and stab the earth in the direction the storm was coming from and yell, "Part the storm." But that's not a safe thing to do. You shouldn't run out in a storm and do that, even if it is um, exhilarating to do. It can be dangerous. Lightning could get your ass or something. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. So I got to where I would just visualize it in my mind. I would just, find the direction of the storm and see myself doing the actions of being on the outside, stabbing the earth with the knife and yelling, "Part the storm." I would just see it play out in my mind instead. And I part the storms, and we are tornado free in this area. So um, I just saw myself across the entire length of the storm system from Texas all the way up to, I don't even remember, I think it was Massachusetts, maybe. And I just saw myself like, part the storm, 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 all the way up, right? And today, tonight, when I checked the weather, as you can see, there's only one confirmed tornado that touched down anywhere in the entire US. And we can all do this, guys. We can all do this kind of stuff to keep us safe, especially if you think it's some kind of weaponized manipulations, because we have dominion over this earth. God gave us dominion over this earth. And God also says that the meek will inherit the earth, but also that we shall survive, those who are righteous in their Christ consciousness of what Christ tried to teach you. Those will be the ones to survive the cataclysms. So the more people that we get to understand what exactly that means and who we really are, then the better our odds of a great number of us being able to survive this, right? And not just survive it, but survive it well. We can do this. I mean, we can really do this. So I hope that you are not like the man at the beginning of the video said, where men will fail themselves for not knowing thyself. Know thyself. Really realize who we are and what we can do together. Where two or more gather in his name, there's greatness, there's power. I'm one person, and I know I could do miraculous things on my own. And it's not because I'm different or gifted or special in any way, other than I know myself. And so could you. And then we could save our planet, and we could save humanity and spare them from any further undue stress. Because God knows we have all been jaded by the hells we've had to go through on this planet. And we all know why. And it's time for us to be triumphant. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. And if you did, give me a thumbs up. That helps the algorithms to get the message out to more people. I appreciate you sticking with me till the end. And let me know in the comments what you think about me putting all of the different photos in some of the videos for visuals, if you like that or not, so that I know whether or not to keep doing that. All right. So, as always, guys, be well and be blessed in love and light. Take care.